Hey everyone! So, a few weeks ago, many of you took the time to fill out our Know Your Church survey, and today we're going to dive into what we learned. We're going to explore what these results really tell us about our journey together, our heart cry to love God, love others, and make disciples. So let's get right into it.
All right, so here's our game plan. We'll start with our overall health score. Then we'll break down where we're strong and where we've got room to grow. After that, we're going to look at the community right outside our doors and the incredible opportunity that presents. And finally, we'll talk about 3 really practical steps forward and how we can all be a part of what God is doing.
Okay, first up, our honest scorecard. This is all about looking at the numbers and getting a real, clear picture of our congregational health.
So the big number, the one that kind of sums everything up, is 69.60 out of a possible 100. This is our baseline, right? It's an honest look at where we are at this very moment. Now you might be thinking, okay, so what does 69.60 actually mean? Well, the survey calls this marginally healthy. But I want you to hear this part loud and clear. The analysis says this doesn't describe a church in crisis. Not at all. It describes a church at a crossroads. And that, my friends, is a moment just filled with incredible opportunity.
So let's break that big score down. This is where it gets really good because we get to see the specific areas where we are genuinely strong and also the clear opportunities God is showing us for growth. This chart right here is really the heart of it all. It shows our scores across 6 key areas of church life, everything from worship to evangelism. And as you just kind of scan your eyes across it, you'll probably start to see a really clear pattern emerge. And this slide just illustrates that pattern perfectly. You see, we are strongest in the areas that face inward. Things like our worship services, our prayer life. We're doing great there. But we scored the lowest in the areas that face outward, serving our community and sharing our faith. That's the tension.
And wow, this one statement really drives that point home. It was one of the lowest scoring statements in the whole survey. Our strong agreement with this idea that our priority should be meeting the needs of our own members, it really reveals a members first kind of mindset. And listen, if we're serious about our mission to make disciples, that's a mindset we've got to prayerfully and intentionally shift together.
So, why does all this matter? Why is this tension between facing inward and facing outward so important for us right here, right now? Well, let's take a look at the incredible mission field that God has literally dropped us into the middle of.
Just stop and think about that for a second. Who are our actual neighbors? The answer to this question, you guys, reveals the incredible opportunity God has put right on our doorstep.
First, here's a snapshot of who we are. We're a mature congregation, right? A majority of us are over 60. And that represents decades of faithfulness and commitment to the Lord. And that is a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Now hold on, because here is where it gets really exciting. Look at this. This is our community. The median age is under 30, 60% are Gen Z or millennials, it's diverse, it's educated, and get this, it is largely unchurched. About 80% of our neighbors do not go to church regularly. This is our mission field.
So let's bring it all back to this quote. The data does not reveal a church in crisis. It reveals a church at a crossroads. You see, we have the wisdom of this faithful, mature congregation, and we are perfectly positioned to reach this young, diverse, spiritually hungry community. The gap between us and them isn't a problem. It's our greatest opportunity. So, the big question is, how do we do it? How do we bridge that gap? How do we start turning our focus outward? Well, the path forward is all about 3 clear, intentional steps toward health and effectiveness.
Okay, so here they are. Step 1, we've got to make evangelism just a normal, natural part of who we are. Step 2, we need to build a clear path for people to grow as disciples. And step 3, we need to equip and empower every single one of us to do the work of ministry. Let's just focus on that first step for a second, because it's our biggest area of need. Our evangelism score was 64.56, the lowest of all 6 categories. The data is screaming at us that this is where we have the most significant room to grow. But, and this is a huge but, this is where we find some incredible hope. When you were asked if our pastor models personal evangelism, the score was a 3.53 out of 4. That is one of the highest scores in the entire survey. The leadership is there, the example is being set. The only question left is, will we, as a church, follow that lead?
Look, this data isn't just for us to look at. It's for transformation. This is a call for us to have a really important conversation and then to take action together.
So this explainer right now is just the beginning of a church-wide conversation. And to get that ball rolling, we need to start wrestling with some key questions as a church family.
We really want you to dig into these. Does this feel right to you? What did the survey miss? And most importantly, what can we do personally and as a whole church to get better at making disciples? Talk about this in your small groups, with your families, and please share your thoughts with leadership.
In the end, all of this, all the numbers, all the charts, it all points us right back here to our simple, powerful mission. We are at a crossroads, and the opportunity in front of us is absolutely immense. So let's take that step forward together, ready to live out our mission more fully and faithfully in the very community God has called us to.